So the biggest entertainment story this week, it isn't a trailer, it's not some box office record, it's a celebrity admitting failure. Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself, recently confessed that his character became too silly.
His exact words were a parody of the original.
A parody. And that admission, it just poured fuel on the fire, the whole fan frenzy around a serious Thor supposedly coming back for Avengers Doomsday.
It's a huge deal. So our mission today was to dig through all of that, all the articles, the Reddit threads, this massive fan debate, and just extract the truth. Like, what version of Thor did the audience actually want, and where did that tonal balance completely break?
Okay, let's jump right in then. The core critique, it seems to land squarely on Love and Thunder. Now, I know it's popular to hate on that film, but what specifically did the sources say failed? Was it just too much slapstick or something deeper?
Oh, it was the undermining, absolutely. I mean, fans called it a joke movie with action, and the real problem was the narrative whiplash.
Yep.
Yeah, the sources pointed out again and again that the humor just felt actively inappropriate when you had these genuinely dark stakes. Jane Foster's cancer arc and Gore the God Butcher.
Right. I remember that feeling. Christian Bale was legitimately terrifying as Gore, but the movie just couldn't stop being goofy long enough for his threat to feel real.
Precisely. And this is where the analysis gets really fascinating. When fans talked about peak Thor, the overwhelming consensus wasn't Ragnarok, which, introduced all the comedy. It was Infinity War.
I want to challenge that a little because Ragnarok is so beloved. It injected so much life into a character who was getting, let's be honest, kind of boring.
Yeah.
So why Infinity War? What made that the gold standard?
Because the humor in Infinity War felt earned. It was used as a shield for his trauma, not as his entire personality.
Okay, go on.
Well, think about that scene with Rocket Raccoon. Thor's boasting, right? About being 1,500 years old, all the enemies he's killed. But when Rocket gently asks how he's really doing, Thor just says, "What more could I lose?"
Yeah. That moment, it's all vulnerability disguised by bravado that makes you realize just how much pain he is carrying. And that leads right into the Stormbreaker forging sequence.
Exactly. The sources called that scene the moment the hero earned his big cinematic pop. He risked death, not just for a new weapon, but because he'd hit rock bottom. He needed a reason to live, a way to avenge his family.
So let's nail down this dividing line. Both Ragnarok and Love and Thunder are comedies. So where do the sources draw the line between good humor and bad?
The good humor, mostly in Ragnarok, was often that subtle deadpan delivery. Thor acting as the straight man in some absurd situation. The bad comedy, what we saw later, is what fans call flanderization.
Flanderization, where one trait, his goofiness, just gets exaggerated until the character has no depth left.
Exactly that. We're talking about Mjolnir having like an emotional personality of its own, the screaming goats, all the slapstick.
And it actively diminished his past character growth.
It even spoiled powerful arcs from before. The sources were really critical of how Thor's depression and PTSD in Endgame was just undercut.
A cheese whiz joke.
A cheese whiz joke. I mean, instead of a powerful moment, you get this cheap shot while he's begging to sacrifice himself. It just felt wrong.
Okay, so this brings us to Avengers Doomsday. The optimism is high because the Russos, who directed Infinity War, are back. But wait a minute. The Russos also gave us the Fat Thor arc and that terrible joke. Are fans really convinced they can recapture that Infinity War tone, or is this just wishful thinking?
It's a kind of balanced optimism, I'd say. The hype comes from the leaked themes, a more serious portrayal focusing on deep emotional stakes. Things like Thor's prayer to Odin, and this critical desire he has to teach his adopted daughter love about peace instead of war. So it's about consistency, consequence.
So what's the big takeaway for you, the person trying to keep track of all this? It seems the core lesson is that a successful, lasting hero arc isn't just about balance, it's about earned balance. The comedy only lands when the audience truly gets the stakes and the character's capacity for pain.
Right. Thor's journey is this struggle to shift from like a Shakespearean god to an earthenized hero who knows when to joke and when not to. So if the God of Thunder really is returning to that desperate, high-stakes side of himself for Doomsday, here's a final thought for you to chew on. What is the absolute worst thing he could lose now that he's finally found his daughter, Love?
Oof. Something serious to ponder.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more rapid-fire analysis of the biggest news, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more shortcut knowledge. We'll catch you on the next one.